viewed on our browser. Now, what happens if you just cross this margin left out? You can test it. So the margin left, it has got a negative index. It has got a negative integer, negative pixel number, and if you cross this out, it moves on to the right. So this was, as you can guess, this property was used to align all these photos, all these images at the center of this web page. So you can similarly work out how this entire content, how the entire content of any web page is laid out. You can even look at their style using this Firebug add-in. Now, if you want to explicitly view the CSS style sheet entirely on your browser, you can do that by clicking on the CSS. This will show you everything from this will show you all the selectors, all the properties, all the declaration blocks, and this will be as same as the one that I already created. Now, we have talked too much about theories. Now let's get on to let's learn how we can actually create our own page. To understand how we can create, we need to use we can use Aptana's built-in features, or we can even create our own one. So what I mean by that, Aptana already provides you with several templates. So if you click onto this part, if you hover over this, it's called new. If you hover over this new symbol, and if you click on the arrow, it tells you what sort of projects you want. And even if you click on the file, like at the top, I can't show you, but because okay, so at the file, if you click on this, you get this new, and if you hover over this, you get all these options. But if you want to create something out of a template, which means you want a layout that's already created, I mean, it's not a custom-made, it's pre-built, and you want to use that for your project to save time. So you can go to File and New Template. You can see there are a number of languages that are listed here. So from this entire list, we can go to this HTML. Now there are basically all the versions of HTML and XML, because in this video series we're talking about this Html5 templates, or Html5 and CSS3, the latest ones. So we'll be using the HTML5. You can even open up a blank file and you can even create your own template. It's not that there are no hard and fast rules that you need to use the pre-built ones. So let me just give you an idea how it looks. If you click on this Html5 template, it must open up a new page. So it gives you a new page with all these pre-configured tags and elements. So let me also open up another HTML page. Now this time let me open up HTML4, which is the previous version. You see, it's quite different than the HTML5 document. So the difference mainly lies at the top of the document. If you look at the declaration, this declaration tells the browser what sort of or what version of HTML you are using. If you just see that, if you can see, even look at Firebug, the output from Firebug, like if you head over at the top section, there you'll find this Doctype Declaration. So this Doctype Declaration is what defines the version of the HTML document. If you look carefully in this doctype, it tells what version of the HTML it is. So the version number is 4.01, which means it's an HTML4 document, and it's a huge declaration with all these links and the HTML publics, which we really don't need to understand at this moment. We won't be even working with this HTML4 document. Now, HTML5 has got a lot simpler than HTML4 documents. You only need to define the doc type inside at the beginning of this document, and you just need to type in doc type HTML, and this needs to be preceded by the exclamation mark, and it needs to be enclosed inside the opening angle bracket and the closing angle bracket. So you need to remember that. But if you want to, this is just a convention. This Doctype Declaration in all uppercase letters is a convention. You can even go for lowercase letters like this, Doctype. This will even work. But because programmers like to use, many programmers want to adhere to the conventions, that's why they prefer to use the Doctype in uppercase form. In many validators, we'll be talking about these validators. Validators are like engines, or they're like some software application that will test whether you have placed or whether you have used legitimate elements on your web page. If you don't, they will throw you error and they'll tell you where the error occurred. Now, there are two forms of validators. One you will get on the internet, and the other one you have it on this Aptana Studio. So we'll be talking about that at the end of this chapter, but let us now focus on to this this part. You can even see when the document starts inside an HTML4 document, there are some other attributes. It's also using attributes like this XML/NS and lang. So the lang has been retained in the HTML5 document. You can see this. It's defining that this document will contain language contents that are English, that are written in English. So you can even define other forms of languages if you'd like to, but we won't be going very deep into how languages are used at this moment. In here you will also see some other information like who's the author of this page. It has already created, it has already given my name because this is according to this file system on my computer, and it has also given you something called a viewport, and it has defined what this viewport is. So this is basically used to scale your document if a visitor is accessing your site from a mobile device or something like an iPad, like a tablet. So if they're accessing into if they're accessing your website in different resolutions, then your website needs to be responsive. It just can't stay as if it's on a desktop. In a desktop environment or in a desktop system, your web page will be using the entire width of your screen. But when it comes to mobile devices, they have a very small space to or a very small viewing port, or a very small resolutions. So we need to use some sort of elements, we need to use some sort of stylings, we need to provide a way for the document to understand how to respond to smaller devices, how to respond to medium-sized devices like the tablets, and how to respond to screens that come with desktops and laptops. So this content is defining this response.